edge on your sports book? We know that you do, and that's why we are here every single day, 7 days a week. Before 11 a.m., we bring you the best bets, the best cappers, the biggest sports all over the world. And I'm your leader, the coach. Now, on Saturday, we gave you the Army under, North Carolina. It pays to watch this show. This is the very first NFL Sunday for the Early Edge, powered by SportsLine, and I could not be more excited. So let's get right into it because it's a supersized show. Our first capper, I simply call him the Maestro. He is the only undefeated capper on this show, 3-0. Let's bring him in. Larry Hartstein, are you ready for Sunday today?
I can't wait for Sunday, especially because we got 7 early games, 6 late games. I think it's the perfect division. I can't wait for NFL.
And our second, he is dressed up. He is dapper. He is the man, Emory Hunt. I tell you what, last year, #1 in college, #2 in NFL at SportsLine. Emory, today's a big day.
It is. And like Larry said, I'm so glad that we have an evenly split broadcast slate. I'm sick of watching 15 games in the 1 o'clock window and one terrible game at 4 o'clock and a night game that you tend to sleep through. So I'm glad we got an even slate today.
You know, that's right. So let's get right into it because did I mention we do it all in under 10 minutes? First game on the board, the Texans on the road at Soldier Field, taking on the Bears, according to William Hill, our good partners. The total coming in at 46, and this line just moved before the show back down to 1.5. The Bears, 0-4 in their last 4 games overall against the spread. Emory, give it to me.
This is the worst game possible, the worst matchup possible for Ryan Pace, the GM, and Mitch Trubisky, the quarterback, because they're facing the guy that they should have taken in that draft, Deshaun Watson. So I didn't care what the number was. You laid those points with the Texans in this game. This is personal.
I wonder what the weather's going to be like because I watched Northwestern on Saturday, and it was really, really bad. But I think the field will be fine. I think they won't have issues with the footing at all. All right, next game on the board, Titans -7 at Jacksonville. The total just moved back down to 52. This is also an early game today in northern Florida. The over is 5-1-1 in the Titans' last 7 games as a favorite. Larry, what do you got?
Yeah, I like the over here. I just don't see either team stopping the other. This was 33-30 back in week 2. And when they played late last year, it was 42-20. Those are Tannehill's only 2 starts against the Jags. He's just destroyed them, averaging almost 12 yards per attempt. But it's also about how bad the Tennessee defense is. The only team in the league that scores more than 27 and gives up more than 27. And they have the 3rd worst pass defense going up against Mike Glennon, who has been decent. 25 points, the first game, 24 points. And he's actually attacking downfield, 16 throws of at least 20 yards, the most in the NFL over the last 2 weeks. He's got DJ Chark. He's got James Robinson. He's got a great rookie in Colin Johnson. So let's go over.
Maestro, you love the over. Guess who else loves the over? RJ White. You can get all of his great picks at sportsline.com, the SportsLine app. He loves this over as well. And by the way, if you're not a member, and you should be, I've got a deal that you cannot refuse right now. And I talked to the bosses. They're cool with it now. We have really good graces with them. If you enter the promo code EDGE, EDGE, you're going to get 30 days for free. Again, promo code EDGE, and you get 30 days for free. By then, you're going to be playing with house money. No doubt about it. Okay, next game on the board. My beloved Chiefs, tied for the top seed in the AFC. They're giving 7 on the road in Miami. The Dolphins, they have no room for error, sitting at 8-4. The total at 50.5. Emory, the Dolphins have been winning games, but the offense has not looked very good. We've got Patrick Mahomes and the whole crew coming to town. What do you like here?
Well, you just nailed the point right there that they have no room for error as far as the playoffs is concerned, but they also have no room for error offensively because this is going to be a track meet, and they're going to have to keep up against Kansas City. I don't think they are equipped just yet to do that offensively. Their defense is solid, and they will slow down Kansas City at some parts in the first and second quarter. But as the game stretches on and goes on, that offense will prove to be too much to stop, too explosive to stop. And the Dolphins offense just doesn't have enough bullets in the gun to keep up with KC. So I'm laying those points with the Chiefs.
Yeah, Emory, and the Chiefs didn't play that well last week. And everybody that you heard from this week, they said, we've got to get back on track. They're still winning when they're off track. Today, I think they're going to explode, and they want to look really, really good. Okay, next game on the board, 4:05 Eastern start in Vegas. The Colts and a hobbled Phillip Rivers, 3-point favorites over a Raiders team who has looked average at best. If it wasn't for a gift from Greg Robinson last week, they would have handed the Jets their first win. Instead, it went the other way. The Colts would be the 7th seed right now if the playoffs started today. Larry, what do you got?
Well, you mentioned a hobbled Phillip Rivers, but he's doing okay. 8 touchdowns, 2 picks last 4 games, and he's likely to get his big left tackle back today. Costanzo practiced on a limited basis, and they expect him to play. And this Raiders defense, I mean, the Jets averaged 6.3 yards a play. They've given up over 35 points the last 3 games. And what the Raiders want to do offensively, if they're going to keep up, they love to throw to Darren Waller, but the Colts don't give up anything to tight ends. No tight end has gotten more than 65 yards, and the Colts also stuff the run. So even though Josh Jacobs is back, the Colts only give up 3.8 yards a carry. I think the Raiders will give a better effort, but I just like the Colts by about a touchdown.
That tight end nugget, that's just the kind of stuff you can only get right here on the show. Come on, pay attention, people. So Larry's on the Colts -3. Okay, 4:25 Eastern kick. Next game on the board. Interesting one here. The Saints on the road in Philly. Now, New Orleans favored by that odd number of 8. The total, according to William Hill, at 42.5. Now, as a home underdog, the Eagles are 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 games. Now, Emory, Carson Wentz is benched. Taysom Hill appears to be getting more and more comfortable. The Saints right now, 1 game up on the Packers for the top seed and the only seed that's going to get a bye this year. What do you like in this one?
Well, usually desperation is a stinky cologne, but in this situation, it's going to be a great fragrance because when you look at Jalen Hurts being quarterback, he changes the math. He makes it an 11-on-11 game. He makes everyone around him better because the focus will be on stopping him in the run game, which will create a lot of open windows for those receivers in the passing game, a lot of one-on-one matchups in certain situations, but they have to be really cognizant of when they play man coverage. Otherwise, Hurts can beat them on the ground. So it changes how you play defensively against the Eagles. We'll see a much better offense. Their defensive line will do a great job of harassing Taysom Hill. So I'm taking the Eagles in the points here. I like them in this ball game.
You threw me off when you started talking about Cologne. It's kind of my thing. All right, next game up. Let's go to Detroit City. 4:25 kick. The Packers playing elite football right now. Aaron Rodgers, 36 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. Detroit, they're not playing elite football right now. So on the road, Green Bay is giving 8.5. The total, a robust 55. This line started at 7.5, has moved a full point. A good reason why? The Packers are 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 games as a favorite. Larry, talk to me.
Yeah, normally don't like to lay big points, but I did get it at 7.5 on SportsLine. I still like it at 8.5. I mean, this Lions defense, they gave up 30 points to the Bears last week. They're totally beaten up in the secondary. And then, I mean, Aaron Jones, he's playing for a contract. I think we saw that last week with that big run against the Eagles. He destroyed this team for over 200 total yards and 3 touchdowns in the first meeting. So I think the Packers are going to do what they want. The Lions will score some, but I think it's at least a 10-point win. And, you look at teams that made that big comeback, that late comeback like the Lions had last week, kind of fluky the way they beat the Bears. But there's a trend. It's about 70%. I don't have it in front of me, the details. But you look at the teams like the Broncos that had that shocking win over the Chargers. The next week, they were totally flat against the Falcons. The Colts came back from big against the Packers. The next week, they get blown out by the Titans. So it's a trend that's held. When you get that big, late, double-digit comeback win, the next week you tend not to cover. So I'm going to lay it with Green Bay.
And that's a great point. I also think Aaron Rodgers is playing with a big old chip on his shoulder right now because he's in those State Farm commercials with Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick's getting is getting all of the attention. So I think that's something to watch today. Great nuggets from both of you guys. Quick reminder, you can consume this show in so many different ways. We've got video up on YouTube. We put clips all over social media throughout the day. Also, if you just want the audio, you're out for a run, you just want to listen, we're at Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Subscribe, like, leave us a 5-star review, but most importantly, enable those alerts, because just because we do a show in the morning does not mean we're not going to drop a show sometime else throughout the day. We work 24/7 just for you. Time for our full recap. Larry, you like the Tennessee-Jacksonville over at 52, the Colts -3, and the Packers laying 8.5. Emory, you're on the Texans -2, the Chiefs -7, and the Eagles plus the 8 at home. Also, yesterday, we gave out the Bills -1.5 over the Steelers tonight for Sunday Night Football. That number now has gone up to -2. I would suggest that you lay it early because people are starting to figure out just how good those Buffalo Bills really are. That's going to do it for today. But remember, we're here every single day, 7 days a week before 11 a.m., and we do it most of the time in under 10 minutes. For the maestro, Larry Hartstein, for Emory Hunt, the dapper man today, and our man that puts all this madness together, our producer, Jacob, I am the coach. We'll see you right back here tomorrow, the only place for your early edge.